ethnic conflict in Manipur has been a long drawn event. However, the very recent conflict had started in the year 2023, which again is almost 3 years old. Not just that, a very recent event further provoked the conflicts in our state of Manipur. So in this video, we will understand the long and fractured history of Manipur and what is the road ahead, because ultimately we need to resolve these conflicts so that no more lives are taken away, no more people are displaced, and people get their fair share and the due that is rightfully theirs, and we as all Indians can live peacefully. So let us understand all these things from this video. So let's get started first with respect to the news, or why this is again the talk. It is of course because it's a long drawn thing going on since decades, but as I said, since the last almost 3 years, it has exacerbated again. And very recently what has happened is fresh violence in Manipur has started now. Why is that the case? Because a rocket like projectile was basically thrown, or you can say launched, which led to the sad demise or the death of two young children, two small children, two infants. In fact, that is what has happened. So two children in the district of Bishnupur basically were killed because of the projectile, the rocket like projectile that was launched. Now this launching of the projectile killed these two children, as a result of which fresh violence, protests, etc. were triggered. Now subsequent to these protests which triggered, it led to further death of the civilians. So certain more number of deaths of the civilian were subsequently reported after this sad incident happened. It led to further sad incidents. Now this is a reflection of the continuing fragility which is there in Manipur since 2023, right? So let us understand what the nature of conflict is. So the nature of conflict is ethnic violence. That means the violence or the conflict is with respect to the ethnicity. Now what is ethnicity? Ethnicity is basically the sociological or social expression of one's race. It is basically, if you belong to same ethnic group, that means what? That means these people would have, let's say I belong, or you belong, or we belong to one ethnic group. That means we belong to a region which is common for all of us. That's why we are ethnically related. We have a shared history. We share the culture, language, food, lifestyle, dressing sense, and a shared history being very, very important. Because of all these factors, we all become people of same ethnic origin. Now this prolonged ethnic violence is what is going on, and this violence or conflict is between the Meitei community and the Kuki tribes. Now the Meiteis, they live in the valleys, whereas the Kukis on the hillside. So you have these hills that are there. So this is the valley part, this is the hilly region. So Kukis inhabit the hilly region, whereas Meiteis are living in the valleys. So both people living in different regions, but of course you cannot segregate and separate very stringently, right? There will be intermixing, right? People are free to travel in different states, different regions, places, with some exceptions with respect to the spatial status that are given to states and region, states or region within a state. Now, what has been the impact of this violence? It has led to more than 260 deaths in the last less than 3 years. Plus, over 60,000 people have been displaced. IDP, internally displaced people within the same state, they are getting displaced. Within the same country, they are getting displaced. See, we have heard that people get displaced from another country and then move on to another country as migrants, but here it is happening within the country. Not just within the country, it is happening within the states. The people are getting displaced. Right now, what is this conflict driven by? It is driven by the history between the two groups, the land and the cultural identity, plus the imposition, acquiring an imposition of power by the respective communities. Now, what has been the historical fault line over here? Right, there has been key phases of the Kanglepak community, or you can say the kingdom that was there. So here what had happened is Burmese invasion. Burma, what is Burma? Burma is nothing but Myanmar. Now it is argued that Kukis are nothing but migrants from Myanmar. But at the same time, all the Kukis are not migrants of Myanmar. Right? Many of them has been here beforehand itself, right? Because ethnicity can cut across the boundaries as well. The boundaries of the nations that are drawn are the political boundaries, right? So of course the same ethnicity people can be on this side as well as that side. For example, from at the state of Maharashtra and Karnataka, you will have on the inside the Maharashtra state, near the border of Maharashtra Karnataka, you will have people speaking prominently Kannada language. Whereas on this side of Karnataka, inside Karnataka, near the Maharashtra Karnataka border, you will have people speaking prominently Marathi as well. Now, how is this happening? Because the intermixing and the preferences of the people, the political boundary of a state cannot, differentiate or discriminate or divide your culture, tradition, etc. People may still follow it, as a result of which there are a lot of people who are from Kuki tribes who have been there beforehand itself, plus people who had come at that time have been living there since a long time, since hundreds of years. This is 18th century, that means 1700s, right? So it has been the entire 19th century, 20th century, now the 21st century, 1/4 is done. So over hundreds of years they are residing. Now after 1891, this was controlled by Britishers, which of course created even more mess. And then the 1949 of controversial annexation is also basically talked about. But the most important thing is the ethnic divide, which has led to this conflict. The colonial legacy basically, which divided the valley and the hill and institutionalized by dividing the valley and the hill people. So all the things that are, not all the things, but a lot of negative thing that goes around in India, be it with respect to the division based on religion, that is also the initiation of the Britishers. You may not say initiation, but at least they were the ones who propagated it to a massive level. Now, what are the structural causes of tension? So if you talk about the land laws, the Meiteis are barred from buying land in the hills, which they do not like, right? And there is ST protection for the tribes. Now, since there are ST protection for the tribes, the Kukis are demanding the ST protection. What is the perception that is going on? Meiteis feel the land pressure and exclusion. Tribals feel that there is threat to their existence and culture. So both the societies are sort of scared. Now, what is the immediate trigger? The demand for ST status. Sorry, for the Meiteis, the demand for ST status, that is the scheduled tribe status for Meitei, is what is the immediate trigger, right? Now, what has happened in 2023 and after? Let us understand that. So in May 2023, almost 3 years, right, there was violence in the Churachandpur, Bishnupur belt. Now, Bishnupur is the district where the recent projectile was hit. So this region has been quite prominent in the very recent conflict or propagation of the conflict. So in this belt, there was rapid escalation. This led to arsons, killing, destruction of homes and churches. Arson means burning of the things, as you can see over here. So this is what has happened. Subsequent to which, of course, there will be a response from the state wherein curfew was put. That means that gathering of the people was prohibited. At times, shoot and sight order and the internet shutdown. Why the internet shutdown? So that the negativities, provocation, etc. cannot be promoted through the internet, which would make the situation worse. Deployment of 126 army columns, 62 paramilitary forces. You have the Assam Rifles here, plus the CRPF, that is the Central Reserve Police Force, which are manning this region. Right, so this is what has happened since 2023. Now, what is the way forward over here? The way forward is to disarm the organizations, the groupings who are using the weapons, etc. At the same time, there needs to be dialogue, and the dialogue needs to be inclusive. That means take into consideration all the stakeholders that are involved, and there needs to be addressing of the root cause, talking about development of the hilly region, alternative to the poppy cultivation, which is the major source of income, and reviving the agreement between the government and the various groups that are there, in order to ensure that there is peace, not just temporary for small time, but permanently forever. Now the accountability also needs to be put as to what led to these violence. Committee has been set, however the committee's deadline is getting expanded and the report is not coming. So of course it's a very complex thing, and just like that it cannot come out, and when the report comes out, that itself can create a lot of chaos, as a result of which whatever is put forward by the committee needs to be very fair to all the stakeholders involved, and very rational, logical, and what actually is fair to all the stakeholders involved. So that needs to be put, and then subsequent fair reconciliation of the things should be done, taking all the stakeholders into consideration, which can lead to peace in Manipur. Thank you.